Students, we are going to start the question paper discussion. Today I will be discussing the question paper of knowledge and curriculum of the second semester examination, and this is the question paper of the examination for May 2017. So I'll be discussing the questions here. I have got the question paper here, so I will be telling the questions, then I will be telling the answers, and you can ask questions if you have got any questions in between the process. Students, in this question paper, the first question is mention the aims of education according to existentialism. And this is a question for 1 mark. And here, as I told earlier, as it is for 1 mark, you can just give 2 points. So you can just write the following are the 2 aims of education according to existentialism. First one, to make an individual aware that existence is more important than essence. Then second one, to make an individual able to choose anything in his life without getting pressure from others. So these 2 points are enough for 1 mark. And if the question is for 2 marks, then you can add 2 more points. Then you can add to make an individual realize that his own natural language is better for him. Then fourth one, to promote one's own folk literature. So here see, these are the 4 points which you can write if it is a 2 mark question. And see, as you know, existentialism is something different from humanism. Actually, humanism and existentialism are keeping the same concept that there is no supernatural power. But in humanism, they give importance to standard life of human beings, standard language of human beings, and such things, literary discussion and such things. But according to existentialism, they believe that there is no need for accepting any standard literature. There is no need for accepting any standard life. There is any need for accepting any literary discussion in one's own life. Everyone can live just as he is. So this is existentialism. So if you are asked a 1 mark question to write the aims of education according to existentialism, you can give 2 points. And if it is for 2 marks, then you can give 4 points. The second question in this question paper is, what is empirical knowledge? And this is a very simple question, and you know different types of knowledge. And empirical knowledge is the knowledge which we gain from our own experiences. And this is enough for 1 mark. And if you are asked to write the answer for 2 marks, then you can write just like this. Empirical knowledge is one of the important types of knowledge. It is the knowledge which we gain from our own life experiences. So it's enough for 2 marks. The third question in this question paper is, what is culture of silence? Again, a simple question, and this is for 1 mark. So you can just write Culture of silence is the state of a student in the traditional formal classroom where the student is forced to sit passive. Then if it is for 2 marks, then you can just write culture of silence is a view of Paulo Freire, one of the greatest educationists, about the state of learner inside the traditional formal classroom. According to Paulo Freire, the learner in a traditional formal classroom is forced to keep silence without getting an opportunity to express his own views. And this is a sort of culture of silence, he called. Question number 4 of this question paper is which school of philosophy suggests project method? And this is a very simple question. All of you know pragmatism. As it is only for 1 mark, you can just write pragmatism suggests project method. You have got 1 mark. If it is for 2 marks, sometimes maybe ask in 2 mark session 2, because that is what is we are seeing nowadays. Then you can just write pragmatism, the latest modern philosophy, school of philosophy suggests project method as a method of teaching learning process, because according to pragmatism, classroom should be a learner-centered classroom. So when we give a project to our students, the students have to collect data and do the project. The 5th question, differentiate between information and knowledge. Another very simple question. So as it is for 1 mark, you can just write information is one's idea on the basic elements of things, while knowledge is one's deeper ideas on different aspects of things. So you can just write this one for 1 mark. If it is for 2 marks, then you can write information and knowledge are different. If you have got basic ideas such as name, location, date of birth of a person or an event or a place, then you can call it information. But knowledge is something deeper. If you have got detailed ideas and more features of a person, place, event, principles, etc., then you can call it knowledge. So this is enough for 2 marks. Here Duba has posted a question, life-centered education in 1 mark. So you can just write life-centered education is the education which is provided by making use of examples from one's own life. This is enough for 1 mark. If it is for 2 marks, then you can write life-centered education is a modern concept that when we are giving formal education to people, instead of making use of some artificial examples and situations, we should make use of some actual life experiences and incidents from the learner's life and society. Here Duba has posted a question, life-centered education in 1 mark. So you can just write life-centered education is the education which is provided by making use of examples from one's own life. This is enough for 1 mark. If it is for 2 marks, then you can write life-centered education is a modern concept that when we are giving formal education to people, instead of making use of some artificial examples and situations, we should make use of some actual life experiences and incidents from the learner's life and society. The sixth question of this question paper is a quotation. Truth stands even there be no public support. It is self-sustained. Who said this? Yes, you are right, Gandhiji. The answer is Gandhiji. So if it is for 1 mark, then you can just write Gandhiji said so. If it is for 2 marks, then you have to tell Gandhiji told that truth stands even if there be no public support. It is self-sustained. So this sentence shows that even if majority of the people are against truth, truth is truth. So if you are for truth and if you see that most of the people are against truth, you should not get yourself away from the truth just for pleasing others. And my dear students, you should be careful in this case because during or for a few years, the question paper setters show the tendency to ask some quotations from different people. Actually, we are dealing knowledge and curriculum, but question paper setters are asking some questions, some quotations which are not related with education, and they ask who said this. So you should just go online and search for quotations given by some great people whose names are included in your syllabus. For example, Plato. Just go online and just type quotations of Plato, then you will get some quotations. Then just try to understand those quotations. Then search online quotations of Gandhiji, quotations of John Dewey, quotations of Paulo Freire, quotations of Rousseau, okay, quotations of Martin Buber, quotations of Tagore. So if you are able to recognize some quotations given by these people, then sometimes you will be able to answer the question without any difficulty when you are asked such a question in the examination. So let's move to the part B session of this question paper. I mean the questions for 2 marks. The seventh question of this question paper is, what are the major sources of knowledge? And you know different sources of knowledge, and here this is for 2 marks. So when this question needs some points, then you have to write 4 points. If you write 4 points, then it is enough for 2 marks. So you can just write the following are the major sources of knowledge. 1. Memory. 2. Books. 3. Website. 4. Life experiences. And if you're writing some other points, then this is enough for 2 marks. Then there are different points, or you can write there are lots of sources of knowledge. Some of them are media, then journals, newspapers, seminars, then 4 points are there. So whatever points you write, you should write uh, 4 points. Then it is enough for 2 marks because we are giving half mark for each point. So it is enough. The eighth question of this question paper is write down the significance of activity-oriented curriculum. And see, just looking at activity-oriented curriculum, you should not start writing the answer for this question because the question is what is activity-oriented. The question is not what is activity-oriented curriculum, but the question is significance of activity-oriented curriculum. Significance means importance. So you should tell why do you feel that activity-oriented curriculum is important. So you can write the answer just like this. Activity-oriented curriculum is important nowadays because the major aim of education in the present scenario is to make an individual able to interfere in contemporary issues actively and effectively. So, we should make them practice such activities inside the classroom itself. So, activity-oriented curriculum is important. This should be your style of answering that question. The ninth question of this question paper is explain narrow concept of education. So I have told you that there are two approaches to education, narrow approach and broad approach, or narrow concept or broad concept, narrow and broad. So here the question is narrow concept of education. You can just write what it is. You can see explain the question, but don't try to explain more because this is for 2 marks. So the answer for this question may be narrow concept of education is the view of some people about education that education is something we gain from educational institutions. According to these people, a man can be regarded educated only by looking at his degrees and certificates. The 10th question of this question paper is what do you mean by heuristic method? Don't worry, it is not something unfamiliar to you. Heuristic method is a type of problem solving method in teaching learning process in which the teacher presents a problem or a topic before the students, and then the teacher gets himself to the background and the students are asked to discover the solution for that problem. This is heuristic method. Actually, this word is from some Greek word which means discovery and something like that, self-discovery and something like that. So it is a problem solving method. So there is no problem. So it is for 2 marks. So you can just write heuristic method is a type of problem solving method in which The teacher presents some problem before the students and he just withdraws himself from the situation. The students are asked to find out the solution or the result of the problem themselves. At the same time, the teacher can help them when it is needed. The 11th question of this question paper, that is the final 2-mark question of this question paper, is mention the significance of handbooks. Again, the question is not what is meant by handbooks, and the question is not what is the features of a good handbooks, but the question is mention the significance of handbooks, mention the importance of handbooks. So you can write, handbooks are important in the field of education because they help teachers to get a thorough idea of the aims of teaching different subjects. And to know about different modern activity oriented methods which can be used for teaching different units. To know about different aspects of evaluating the students by giving different types of questions from different units, and to have a uniformity in the case of teaching different subjects in a particular state or country. Meanwhile, Aduba had posted a question there, what do you mean by maxims of teaching? And here the question is not what are different maxims of teaching, but the question is what do you mean by maxims of teaching? So you can write, maxims of teaching are some universal facts introduced and spread all over the world as a result of some authentic experiences of teachers. So this is enough for maxims of teaching for 2 marks. And here an example for a maxim of teaching is known to unknown. So it's a universal fact that when you teach something by relating to the previous knowledge, then it will be more easier to the students to learn the new thing. So this is a universal fact known to unknown. As such terms or such universal facts are known as maxims of teaching. For example, general, specific to general. So such terms we are always using. So if you are asked a question, what do you mean by maxims of teaching, for 1 mark or 2 mark, you can just write, maxims of teaching are some universal facts related to teaching introduced and spread all over the world as a result of the experiences, authentic experiences of teachers and educations. What are some maxims of teaching? This is not a question included in this question paper, but occasionally I thought that I would tell about this one because there was a question, what do you mean by maxims of teaching? If you are asked what are some maxims of teaching, then you, if it is for 2 marks, then you can just write the following are some maxims of teaching. 1, known to unknown. 2, specific to general. 3, simple to complex. Yes, so you can write these points. So known to unknown, then simple to complex, then specific to general, then concrete to abstract, then experiential knowledge to theoretical knowledge. So these are some maxims of teaching you can write or you can list.